Sanmonani. Today we'll continue looking at chapter 3. So for Segelo, I'm hoping this will be the last video on chapter 3. We're going to start with the right to the rights and freedoms, or is it the right and protection of the family? So men and women have the right to marry and found a home. So you can marry, that's the right that you have under a constitution. Would say you can enter into marriage only with free and full consent. So nyalo kuthi noma ngabe bathi bafuna kwenzisa is for you ukuthi usho ukuthi uyafuna noma awufuni, so angeke bakufostele ukuthi ushade umuntu longamfuni. So the family is the natural and fundamental unit of society and it's entitled to protection by state. So uhulumende une has a role, unenzima, I will say, yokuthi lafanele ayidlale in order to protect the unit, the family unity and the family at large, as a unit of society. Motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance by society and the state. So sibamfu, sifanele sinakekelelane kubuswati loko kubuve betfu, and it's part of our constitution. Ngeko I think inyalo sokhanza ukuthi kunetindlu letakhiwe emakhishi etinkundleni letibuka ema-VOC. So us sibamfu, part of bungithi betfu simaswati, kufanele sikhone kunakekelana. Ngoko kadzeni bova ukuthi umuntu futhi awufika nje ene-home athi sihambe singangesenyoni, and uyamnika loko leninako, ubhema hewu, even emandi nje uyamnika umuntu umendela umntanya, umnikete loko lomniketa wona tinkhobe and be there on their way la baya khona, noma umfihlise inhloko avuke ngakusasa achubeke nelihambo lwabo. That is part of us, and we have that role or duty of care as a society, as a community, to look after and preserve the family unity, the family structure. Subject to the availability of resources, the government shall provide facilities and opportunities necessary to enhance the welfare of the needy and the elderly. So, dependent on the resources, hulumende utawusita la sita khona, but I will go back to the point with as a society, as a community, let us learn to look after one another. Singatitsheli ukuthi intamantamane yahulumende kunakekela abatali bethu, sihamba ngedingadlanga. Eswatini is one of the countries where people are driving big, massive, expensive cars, everyone, ngisho nalo se-university umkhanzi ashayela imoto uma ngathi uyithathaphi imoto, se-university. But we have to realize ukuthi it's not umsebenzi wahulumende to look after us and look after our parents. Is our job as well. And it's necessary adopt, I don't know, this attitude to assume ukuthi ngumsebenzi wahulumende. That hulumende can do based on the resources that may have available for that. But really, is the job of our community. As ngeko kufanele sathi ukuthi as a community, what do we need? If like community yethu we feel ukuthi we've got a group of elderly people, the population yethu is made up of elderly people, and we know ukuthi they will need in emabhokisi, it would be imperative ukuthi kuleyo ndzawo kube nabo masingcwabisane. I'm just making an example. And to do that, it's our job as a community ukuthi sichumane nabani nendlunkulu yethu, sichumane nani nenkhundla yethu, sichumane na-MP, so that this thing can be a reality. This is how we meet our needs. Singahlali nje. And it's such a shame because a lot of tinkhundla tinemali letingakayisebenzisa yahulumende, especially le yasesibofaneni. It makes me sad Ukuthi how can they have 9 million in their coffers and then make noise as if uhulumende kude la kwendawo, yet they are even failing to use the resources that are presently or currently available to them to improve their community. And if they feel bona they've improved enough, they can easily say to uhulumende, yathi thina nenkudla lengumakhelwane, we feel like yona ingabhenefitha kule mali kunokuthi imali nje ihlale ingende luvo. Anyway, we're not there today. Sitawuchubeka sithi rights and the freedoms of women. Women have the right to equal treatment with men, and the right shall include equal opportunities in political, economical, and social activities. And I've seen that as well. Compared to how our parents lived, to how we live namuhla, I can testify and say actually the inequalities as well have greatly reduced, in terms of everything really, political, social, economical. We have equal opportunities. Bamva befu are raised in a different era namuhla where they can be whatever they want to become, and that's great, and it shows ukuthi we have implemented this part of the Umthethosisekelo. Subject to the availability of resources, the government shall provide facilities and opportunities necessary to enhance the welfare of women, to enable them to realize their full potential and advancement. Recently nje ngibonile ukuthi eMlalatini they are encouraging even people like who had children but drop out esikolweni because of pregnancy, and even adults, who do not have like maybe education, good enough education to advance themselves, ukuthi bakhone kuba nalama careers labawafunako. Nyalo, they have the opportunity to do so, and at a very low price. And I think that's a step forward. Uhulumende la asebenzisa khona ama-resources to empower people, because we want people to be empowered to reach their full potential. Hhayi laba labafuna kuba mazini bafuna ekukhamisa uhulumende abe ngunyoni wontsha, because that's just not going to be sustainable for a long time. And people are but deceiving others ukuthi that can be easily be achieved. Even in the developed countries, bakhatha ama-benefits left, right, and center. They expect people ukuthi they have to be empowered to sustain themselves. Ungahlali nje u-expecte ukuthi wena utawuthola imana lebuya ezulwini, nemana bebaphuma bayoyibutha ngaphandle bamfana baka-Israel on daily basis. So they had to do the work. Anyway, a woman shall not be compelled to undergo or uphold any custom to which she is in consciously opposed. Sikubonile lokho batali bethu, they bonisa ngayami nami khona sebake bashonelwa mabvotes abo. It's up to them whether bayafuna kuzela noma bafuni, and that is amazing. Ngisho nekutekwa nyalo bathi sekufanele bakujeze batakuteka, so that ukuthi at some point batakuteka. And I think that's a step forward, how we merge this umthethosisekelo in our culture. Singalahlekelwa masiko ethu nanebuhambo bethu, but we are matching the two together, which is amazing. The rights of the child. A child has the right to be protected from engaging in work that constitute a threat to their health, education, or development of that child. La kuyasichazela nje ukuthi umfana, as much as they have the right ukuthi bakhone kwenda imisebenzi yasekhaya, umfana loyo msebenzi awungabe sekuthi soyamvimbela ukuthi adevelop. Umfana has a right to play. Kulamanye emakhaya ukhanze bamfana bangabavumeli ukuthi bayodlala, because they have been entrusted with so much duties such that they miss out on their development as a child. Children develop through play, and we have to realize ukuthi as much as we have to equip our children with lifetime skills, every life skills, that's what's in to prepare food, to clean where we remain. But those things that they engage in shouldn't then put them in danger of missing out on their development. Or even kuye esikolweni, ngiko nje mina ngeke ngiqunuke nje khanze ukuthi in our communities bamfana baye deep, then umfana sobuye deep thishela umegedeni neliswati uyathi ngabo lwesine kuyadijwa la kule ndzawo. you know. But yena some egedeni ngeliswati ibheli umfana imkhalele useselapha ngesha kwemfuleni uyete esikolweni akhanze thisha lemene emzaca egedeni. What's that supposed to mean kulo mfana? The next thing bafana bagcine bangasayi esikolweni at all ngabo lesini ngoba thishela utabashaya mababuye etipini. I think that's very abusive and is abuse of power by teachers, and I've seen that and I've reported it because I find it very wrong and it's barbaric at this day and age. Ukuthi people that are supposed to be the main people about advocating for children's right and the protection of the child, but you find them that they will be abusing them because it's abusive. Gusumana uyambona, they are coming from that background where they have to do these duties, and then when abesumekete nongithishela uyamvimbela lo mfana ukuthi akhone ukuthi ate esikolweni freely atojabula adlale afunze, and loko nale stress nje because stress is very difficult. Ngihlale ngitshela bami ukuthi thina we've been traumatized by bashise leave, and they are downplaying the level of trauma that we suffered, the pain batali bethu that went through bangakhoni ku-assessa ema-services and facilities ngoba kunema-toll gates ngoba there is terror out there out of their homes abadi ukuthi kwentekalani, and they downplay that as if it's nothing. It's ridiculous and it really annoys me, especially when it comes to a child. Ukuthi bampa bethu they've been abused, brainwashed and been utilized for somebody's own personal agenda, and then people they say that is right and is ridiculous. Anyway, angikho lapho angichubekela ukuthi a child shall not be subjected to abuse or torture or other cruel, inhumane and degrading treatment or punishment, subject to lawful and moderate chastisement for purposes of correction. How do you correct nje ukuthi umfana ufike late bekaye deep? You can't correct that ngeSiswati, you know. Ekugcineni kwako konke kucontrolwa yini ngumadijana kuthi madijana ucale nini nikudibhisa baceda nini kudibhisa. Umfana does not have a control of those things, and most of laba abaya emadibhini they have to be woken up. Fana nemfana lofike late esikolweni, if umfana uhlala nabogogo nabomkhulu nasodwa amshayela kufika late, what if lelo langa kubebede lomvusako lo mfana wavuka hawu sekulate wavuka gijima esikolweni, instead of sikolo ukuthi sibe accommodative simemukele umfana siba resentful sibe really, I think it's very inhumane. Le madolobheni they don't do that, and what really annoys me bothisha labaya bayofundzisa emakhaya bona bashiye bamfa babe emadolobheni and then bafike ba-abuse bamfana bale emakhaya. It really annoys me to the core ke lokho. And anyway, kutawulunga ngoba soon enough these are the issues that we need to address. The child has the right to be properly cared for and brought up by parents or other lawful authority in a place of a parent. Umfana angeke atikhulise bazalwane, and we have to realize that as a community, you know. Thina sikhule mina nje kuna aunt wami wakhulisa umzala wami who watalwa ngulomunye lowakoni wakhe lowashona during childbirth. Akubanga inkinga ukuthi uthafa ngibani noma waba-adoptive, naturally adoptive, wamraiser and uhlala naye nanamhla lokhu. She's an adult naye having children of her own. It just shows ubumfu lebesinabo, but nyalo that thing is running away, and we expect ukuthi konke lokho le role leyo lebe siyidlala siyi-extended family siyi-community nyalo sekufanele idlalwe nguhulumende yethu. Yet it's our job and we have to realize ukuthi silahlekelwa bumfu bethu. Anyway, asengichubeke, children whether born in or out of wedlock shall enjoy the same protections and rights. Kuyatichaza-ke lokho bazalwane, sekude ukuthi umfana lona lona utalwe before umshado athofa umshado, umfana akaceli kutalwa ngoba bamfu lababili labalalako batala umfana. So singabo bese sikhokha ibhongobhongo tefu kubamfana, bamfana bakonlovu akazange lo mfana apply athi mina ngifuna kutalwa ngitalwe in such a situation, but kuba bamfu lababili labadzala labatala lo mfana in that situation. Therefore this abuse ukuthi umuntu bese ukhokhela sibhongobhongo sakhe kumfana longenacala, it needs to stop and it's evil. Mina vele nje ngiyangimani umuntu athi angahlala nemuntu lo that evil Ngibese nawe ngiyakuquestiona ukuthi wena kahle hle, how can you allow that happen to your own child? Shothi nawe une-thinking, shothi nawe unayo le evil in you, because wena uphathe kanjani nje. Mina vele I find it difficult. The minute umuntu nje akhuluma ungazuthi ngiva ungazuthi bamfa bami kukanjanjanyana, vele nje inhlitiyo yami iyafulathela, iyaqima noma ngabe bese ngithi ngijabule kangakanani ngawo. But nje mase ungiva ungazuthi you are tapping into my kids, no. Ngivele nje ngikhwesha ngamane ngibe singini. Anyway, children have the duty to respect their parents at all times and to maintain those parents in case of need. Nayo le point lengishilo ekuqaleni, kuthe bazalwane batali bethu asesitinakeleni. We have that duty of care to do so. Njengoba nabo batali they have that duty of care ukuthi basinake. Umntali i-duty yakhe ukuthi asinake, akondla, akukhulisa, akuqonzise, akuyale, akumolde to be a good citizen. Nathi kusasa when our parents need our care, when they are in need, it's our job to provide that. It's just the cycle of life. We have to do that. And every Swazi child within 3 years of the commencement of this constitution have the right of free education in public school, at least up to the end of primary school, beginning with the first grade. But I know ngoba ekhaya ke sizibene bamfana bayafunza mahhala ema-primary school. But having said that, a lot of people Eswatini bamfa babo, they are paying thousands and thousands babafaka private schools because they prefer to pray, But mina I'm a product of a public school and I don't say anything wrong in a public school. And I'm not saying there is something wrong ngokusenda umphana ku private school. It's a personal choice. And lengingakufuni ukuthi bothishela bese baqabanga ukuthi because they are working in a public school bamfa befuthi nelaba lapha public school bese bona baphola inanjani service le inferior. No, that's just not acceptable. It's really not, it's not right, it's definitely wrong. And ngile timvo lekufanele site address because thine bamfa befu but they've been abused. They've been abused, they've been used. Bese laba labafunza ama-private school, bona they have been protected by the very same institutions or the organizations. Lengabe abukele ilungelo lemfana, they utilize babamfana to meet their own agendas. But that's a story for another day. Parliament shall enact laws necessary to ensure that a child has a right to the same measure of special care, assistance, maintenance as it is necessary for its development from its natural parent, except where those parents have effectively surrendered their rights and responsibilities in respect of the child in accordance with the law, where a child is entitled to reasonable provision out of their estate of its parents. Parents undertake the natural right and obligation of care, maintenance, and proper upbringing of the child, and children receive special protection against exposure to physical or moral hazards within or outside the family. So, kuyatichaza nalapho ukuthi umntwana nje I mean iphalamende kufanele iphasise imithetho letawuvikeleka lungelo lemntwana. Umntwana mangabe kufanele batali bakhe bangakhoni kumprovide with whatever provisions, kufanele kube netindlela letilegal to safeguard lo mfana loyo so that their rights are still are still met. Nawuchubeka angihlulekile kumcaca chapter 3, but I'm hoping the next video I'll be able to complete it. I don't want to keep going because it abayenza then. Speak shortly.